Hello and welcome Universe Mode. This is NXT. We are just over a week now away from TakeOver Toronto. What a night that promises to be. What a huge set of matches we know there is revealed to be. And boy oh boy are they going to continue on into tonight's action and into tonight's main event again. Well, we are in for a big one here in the Hammerstein Ballroom. Tonight's main event, a tag team match. The number one contenders face the champions. The number one contenders are Bret the Hitman Hart and Coren will go up against the NXT Global Champion in Kurt Angle and the NXT Champion in Kurt Angle. It is going to be one hell of a night when these two men meet. When these four men, rather, I should say, meet in that main event. And I cannot wait to see what will happen as a result of it. Who will do what? Will anything happen? Will we get any preludes to NXT TakeOver? We'll find out when all those matches roll around. But as for right now, we're going to get things underway with what should be a great bit of action, a little bit of fallout from last week, as Pete Dunne will go up against Lio Rush. I am looking forward to seeing this one get underway, as two very talented athletes mixing it up at the start of NXT. What more can you ask for when they go at it? Pete Dunne and Lio Rush, who of course were in that 8-man battle royal last week to determine the number one contender for the NXT Global Championship. I think Dunne and Rush got kind of close to the end. I think Rush was limited about halfway through, but Lio Rush has had his own things to focus on after what we saw a few weeks ago when Rush was attacked by Big Cass. Rather, it didn't go the way he wanted it to, as it ended up being Lio Rush laying out Big Cass in the middle of the ring. But due to the little bit of tension going on there and due to the ongoing fiasco, I guess you could say, there is animosity backstage. The NXT general managers have booked it as such so that at NXT TakeOver, Lio Rush will go up against Big Cass, which should be a very interesting affair. On top of that, of course, we have the rest of NXT TakeOver to look forward to. 4 title matches, and who knows, maybe if there's some extra room, we could see the Bruiserweight getting on the card. Pete Dunne looks ready as ever for this bit of action. As long as he's inflicting pain and punishment onto someone, I don't think he's going to be complaining at all. Pete Dunne is as focused as ever, on the money as ever, and while last week didn't go the way he wanted it to, that does not mean to say that it may be a different way this week for Pete Dunne. He could well pick up a huge upset win here over Lio Rush and find himself having to be forced onto that NXT TakeOver card. We'll see now, as Dunne is anxious and ready to go. He is chomping at the bit essentially as the Bruiserweight can barely contain himself as he waits for his opponent to come out here. Lio Rush, of course, there was a lot of attention being paid to him. There are a lot of eyes on that young man, and it's now all about whether or not he can act on it, and whether or not he can continue to rack up those wins as a result of it. Here he goes. Here he is, rather, coming towards the ring for this match here. He may have Big Cass at NXT TakeOver to worry about, but as for tonight, Lio Rush has got to focus on the Bruiserweight. You can't ignore Pete Dunne. Can't just kind of shrug him past and think, oh, I'm in for an easy win here tonight. Not the case one bit. This is a tough opponent. He is called the Bruiserweight for a reason. He has almost won the NXT Global Championship when he has challenged for it before. This is a tough threat for Lio Rush to have to deal with. And this is a match also that to kick things off on NXT, I think is going to be a real fine way of getting action underway. Another good cardio set up. We get on the road to NXT TakeOver. Big question here though, will Lio Rush be able to pick up that win? Or will Pete Dunne make him pay for it? Here we go. This is going to be an entertaining way to kick things off on NXT as these two fine athletes get it going. That quick start there by Pete Dunne, going after the arm there, that's the shoulder rather, that's got some tape up on it. Not too sure what the extent of that injury is, but Lio Rush was wearing that when he came in and made his debut, and he's still wearing it to this day. Oh, a big spinning kick there by Lio Rush. Fair play. Caught him right on the money. And of course, it is all about what these two youngsters can do in this ring. Could call them, of course, some of the future of the future of wrestling could be in this ring right now. And they are going to go out and have a big style matchup in order to prove that to be such. Pete Dunne working in his own way. They're taking it slowly, having his way early on. Trying to ground Lio Rush's fast-paced style of offense. Great work there by Pete Dunne. Oh, a nice leaping downward spiral now. Continuing on here. Goes Lio Rush now up to the top rope. Went for the leg drop and Pete Dunne moved out of the way, but right back up to his feet was Lio Rush. Not for much success though. Throw away. Double underhook slam there. And once more Rush is clutching onto his back. Against the ropes here. Once more, great opportunity opening up for Pete Dunne, but he can't capitalize. Lio Rush not going to let him. Rolls out of the ring now, does Pete Dunne. Feeling a little bit dazed. Oh, Rush there. Didn't get all of that splash. Pete Dunne kind of run a little bit to try and avoid it. And man, oh man, did Rush feel some of the pain from that one. But back in the ring now. Lio Rush is still on the money here. Whoa! What a move there by Rush. Didn't even use the ropes as a springboard for that one. Rush getting ready to explode away here with offense. Pete Dunne not interested. What a catch into the turnbuckle and launched by Pete Dunne. Thing of beauty to witness there. What is Dunne doing here? Oh, went for an elbow drop and Rush moved out of the way that time. This is back and forth now between these two men. Match has had enough time to progress. And now it's getting quick-paced. Now both men are looking for that victory over the other. Big shooting star press there. And Lio Rush has him in position. Will it be the Death Valley driver? No, it'll be the F5, of course. By Lio Rush. Will it be victory for him off of it? It will not be. But he ain't giving up yet. Oh, caught with that. And oh, what an enziguri there by Pete Dunne. Lio Rush floored immediately from it. And he could be in a hell of a lot of trouble. Rush blocked that kick. Small package roll up now on Dunne. Looking for the victory here. And wow, out at an early 1 count is Pete Dunne. Up to the top rope once more goes Lio Rush. What will he look for from this top rope? The Dragon's Core Frog Splash. Lio Rush connected with it. Into the cover he goes. And oh, Pete Dunne kicking out late. A big kick out there for Dunne. He needed that. And he keeps his hopes of winning this one alive. But Lio Rush, man alive, is this guy. He is doing something else right now. Look at these kicks repeatedly to Pete Dunne. The Bruiserweight cannot catch a break here. Lio Rush on the money. Hurricanrana there. Big Cass better be paying close attention to this one, because this is his takeover opponent. And he is going all out for the win here. Dunne getting desperate there with a quick cover. And Rush able to kick out. What will we see now from... Oh, nothing from Pete Dunne, because he's caught once more by Lio Rush. Look at him go here. Rush now with the Rush Hour. From out of left field, Lio Rush strikes with it. There's the cover. There's victory for Lio Rush. Big Cass, take and pay close attention to this man, because at NXT TakeOver, you may not stand a chance of walking out the winner. Oh, speak of him. He's here. Big Cass is here. And Rush isn't aware of it yet. Cass are going to make this one a success. Whenever he finds him, they're going to go face to face. Look at the size advantage Big Cass has here. And unlike last time, it's not looking that good for Lio Rush. DDT by Big Cass. And here comes the follow-up. In position, up on his shoulders here. Big Cass plants him down. And that will be Big Cass sending his message towards Lio Rush. Well, that's not the only time we'll see Big Cass tonight, but my God, did he make sure that Lio Rush well and truly got the message. There's no other way of putting it. I mean, he laid him out there with that one. Big Cass is ready for NXT TakeOver and ready to shut up all the people who are on the Lio Rush hype bandwagon. Well, we'll see if at NXT TakeOver if Big Cass will actually be able to do anything about it, or if it'll just be another victory and another chance for him to showcase his talents. Will that be the case for Lio Rush? We'll see. One thing's for sure, he's going to have to recover from that beatdown by Big Cass. And Big Cass may use this night to his advantage to prove that leaving Enzo a few weeks ago was the greatest decision he could have made. Well, I guess we'll find out when that rolls around. But as for right now, we got singles action going on here. Chad Gable of American Alpha is going to go one-on-one against the leader of SAnitY in Eric Young. As of course we found out last week, SAnitY will be the #1 contenders for the NXT Tag Team titles following their victory over Heavy Machinery. And at TakeOver Toronto, it is not going to be an easy night for a second for American Alpha. They are not in for an easy win. They are not in for a simple title retention. They are in for perhaps the fight of their lives if they want to retain those titles against Eric Young and Killian Dane. Sawyer Fulton watching from behind at all times. And who knows, should things go wrong at some point in that match, I can't see why he wouldn't get himself involved in it. SAnitY head towards the ring here. Eric Young. Well, as I said, he'll be the one going at it in this match. First time we've seen Eric Young in singles action in a long, long time in this universe. Chance for EY to prove that he hasn't missed a beat against Gable. SAnity's arrival, of course, was... well, they showed their dominance and they showed their destruction really in their first match in this universe, beating, of course, the tag team champions American Alpha, showing that it is no easy road to NXT TakeOver, and it's no easy road if they want to defend those NXT tag team titles. With the titles on the line this time around, will it be SAnitY walking out with another victory, but this time the gold to show off with? And with how Eric Young and Killian Dane performed last week in that match, I wouldn't be surprised one bit if that were to bear any truth. SAnitY are dangerous. SAnitY are volatile. SAnitY are hostile. And after NXT TakeOver, we could be saying SAnitY are the NXT Tag Team Champions. But for tonight, Eric Young is going to face off against Chad Gable and try and bring yet more momentum the way of the challengers. The bell rings in this one, and we're underway here. And immediately Eric Young has got off to a great way. Eric Young's positioning in the ring, making sure that Gable wasn't near Jordan when the bell rung, trying to give them a bit of an advantage there. Just for the sake of it, just so Eric Young can play a little bit of mind games maybe with Chad Gable. Here goes Gable early on, working on the arm of Eric Young, trying to wear it down. Not too sure what Gable's plan will be with that arm, but I guess early plan, early mindset for one half of the tag team champions. Eric Young now being gripped onto. Gable constantly moving him around, trying to make it difficult for him to actually be able to do anything when Gable's always got him in his clutches. Knee dug in the back, digs the throat into the ropes as well. But that pain is just what Eric Young wants to receive. It's what he enjoys. And oh, there's Eric Young now, toppling to the outside here. Good start so far for Gable. That loss to SAnitY has certainly woken something up with inside of Chad Gable. And perhaps made American Alpha realize that at TakeOver, they have got to fight with every bit of their body and every bit of skill that they use to win those tag team titles, because it's not going to be an easy night for them at all. Big neck breaker though by EY, and all of a sudden Eric Young is in control in this one. Don't think this is going to go just one way, you know, just one singles match. Next week, the big guys, I guess you could say, of both teams will be squaring off. Killian Dane and Jason Jordan to meet one-on-one as well. That one promises to be a pretty big match. And look at Eric Young now. Oh my god, that Dragon Sleeper in the corner, lifting up Gable with ease and just choking him on that rope. This has all of a sudden become all about Eric Young. Gable trying to get in those little spurts of offense, but you can tell he's almost outclassed and outmatched here in a one-on-one environment. Let's see what Gable can do now. He has him down on the mat. Would have thought he would have tried to use his wrestling ability there to perhaps try and wear out Eric Young, but that's not the case. Suplex there by Gable. Eric Young still feeling some of the effect of this one right now. It's not all plain sailing for him, to be fair. Gable's trying to make sure it's not going to be an easy win for him. But here goes Eric Young now. Hooked in a powerbomb position. Running powerbomb. Oh my god, Gable almost went out of the ring from that one. His neck snapping back against those ropes. Eric Young just snapped out of the blue. But Chad Gable staying calm in the moment and able to try and get a little bit of fight back going on here. SAnitY watching on closely as they are leader right now. Takes it to the man who they could be pinning this, next Saturday even, to win those NXT Tag Team titles. Up to the top rope now goes EY. EY gonna fly here. Went for the leg drop and missed it. Look at how quickly he's back up to his feet. So too, though, is Gable. Uh-oh, this is looking pretty interesting here for Chad Gable. Never mind, caught with an elbow in the face there. EY off the top with a huge drop kick. And then Eric Young slowing down the pace to how he wants it to go. Stomp in the gut there. And Eric Young looks ready to just dominate Chad Gable now. And go on his way to victory here in this one. Set them up for failure. Set them up for what takeover will become. Beautiful belly to belly though by Gable. He's still got a lot of heart left in him and a lot of fight. Is he going to look for that double underhook into the cross arm breaker? He's getting exactly that going here in Eric Young. Will Eric Young be able to fight his way out of it? He will be able to. There's the experience of EY helping him out there. And look at how he turns it around into his favor now. Eric Young with the pile driver. Look at Gable's neck, the way it almost can fold upon him back there. Cover now by EY for victory over Gable. And he got it. Eric Young wins, but so too does SAnitY. Victory for Eric Young. Victory for SAnitY. Gable well beaten down from that one. Jason Jordan, his tag team partner, goes in to check with him, but it doesn't look like they're done here. Eric Young from behind with a chair into Jason Jordan. Killian Dane doing the same to Gable now. American Alpha being flattened by their #1 contenders. SAnitY are doing anything in their power to send any kind of warning to the tag team champions. SAnitY, much like Big Cass, looking to do anything to make sure that they're the ones in control heading into TakeOver. Not really all that much more I can say about that. That was a beatdown. That was using everything to their advantage. And speak of Big Cass, here he is from behind on Cedric to get this one out of the way, but he mistimed it. Cedric now can take the advantage here. We're seeing everyone trying to gain an advantage over the other. Cedric and American Alpha and even Leo Rush being victims here of beatdowns that they don't anticipate. Big Cass brought Cedric back in the ring here. The bell rings and we're underway. Big Cass, what I believe to be his first match since leaving Enzo Amore, is looking ready to use Cedric Alexander essentially as a way of getting his point across, to use Cedric Alexander in order to make sure that a takeover, Lio Rush realizes just what he's in for when the bell rings and they're locked in the same ring as one another. Of course, it was a few weeks ago that Big Cass left Enzo Amore, floored him in the ring. The first thing the Hammerstein crowd in NXT got to see was Enzo Amore being flattened by this big man, and the same is happening to Cedric Alexander right now. The element of surprise completely caught him off guard, and he is getting the absolute, almost everything knocked out of him. But there's Cedric there, launching a comeback. Double knee facebuster. Nicely struck. And here goes Cedric now thinking something optimistic here. Irish whip on Big Cass now. Big leapfrog there, and another one. And a spinning uppercut. Caught Big Cass off guard. If Big Cass was looking to use Cedric to try and send that message, well, it has not gone the way he wanted it to, because Cedric Alexander is giving Big Cass a lot to fight against. Big elbow there. Springboard elbow as well, as Cedric continues his fight. Down with a snapmare there in the middle of the ring. But Big Cass using his larger frame and using his weight advantage there to send Cedric backwards and then send him down with that rocketing clothesline. Here come the strikes to follow up. What are we going to see from Big Cass? We're seeing a hell of a lot of strength from Big Cass, that's for sure. And Cedric can hardly contain with it. He can hardly deal with it right now. Oh, look at that. Just parrying what he used to be about. The Empire elbow by Big Cass, which will serve as a lead-in. Or not, I guess. I thought he was going to go for the East River crossing. But it seems as if Big Cass ain't done beating down Cedric Alexander yet. I don't think Lio Rush will be getting up to his feet after what we saw earlier by Big Cass as well. So Cedric's almost left to fend for himself right now. And to be fair, he's trying his best. Cedric there, big clothesline. And another one. In the corner now, huge clothesline. Off the ropes. And oh, Big Cass held himself there. That was great thinking. And all of a sudden, Big Cass is ready for the win. East River crossing on Cedric. One little slip up, and Big Cass is done here. Cover on Cedric Alexander. There's 2. There's 3. It is victory for Big Cass in this one. Lio Rush is the one backpedaling this week. Big Cass seems firmly proud of what he did and has made sure that everyone heard it and saw it as well. When Big Cass meets Lio Rush at TakeOver, there's no fairy tale victory in mind for Lio Rush. There's no dream debut at a TakeOver, because Big Cass is going to take that away from him and make sure that everyone from here to Toronto to whoever watches NXT is aware that victory is not going to happen to Lio Rush, and that NXT is about to become the zone for Big Cass to make his name. Well, we'll find out in a little over a week if that bears any truth. But for right now, we're going to move on to our next contest, to the women's division. After watching her win last week, the number 1 contender, Kairi Sane, has got to try and bounce back, and she'll see if she can do that here tonight as she goes one-on-one against Ember Moon. Well, this is it. This is a prime opportunity for Kairi Sane to show her worth ahead of NXT TakeOver and show that she is ready to try and take the title away from this woman. Nikki Cross has had enough of just standing around and waiting and hearing about how great Kairi Sane is. Now she's going to go after her. Nikki Cross has almost snapped in this moment. She has lost it already. The NXT Women's Champion is making sure that no attention is deserved to be paid towards Kairi Sane. It is all about Nikki Cross. This is her division for a reason. But Kairi Sane's fighting back. She is fighting back early on here. This may well have backfired for the champion. Nikki Cross loves to play the mind games, loves to get in the head of her opponents before NXT TakeOver, and she's trying to do that right now against Kairi Sane. Sane is not, well, she had that little brief stop, but it's all gone the way of Nikki Cross right now. And it doesn't look as if the beatdown is done. And Cross has made sure to drag Kairi Sane all the way over to this side of the ring. For what reason, I don't know. But Nikki Cross, is she using Kairi Sane here? Is she just beating her down or what? As if to say that TakeOver, there is no chance of victory for this new woman. This is her division for a reason. And she's going to find out why that is the case. Rake of the eyes there by Nikki Cross. What does she have in mind here? Cross making sure that everyone has a great view on this one. And that Kairi Sane's going to feel the effect of it. Suplex cradle. Neck breaker on the spotlight of all things. Nikki Cross has laid out her #1 contender. And has made sure that TakeOver, Kairi Sane stands no chance of walking out the winner. Well, I guess we've prematurely arrived at this point. It is main event time here in the Hammerstein Ballroom. Kairi Sane being attended to, not to be helped backstage by NXT staff. She was laid out something bad on that spotlight. Well, that stage light, I guess. That was rough to lay eyes on, but maybe things will... I don't know what to say, actually. That looks rough for her, but I hope she'll be alright, and I hope the match at TakeOver won't be spoiled as a result of it. But here we are now with our main event. Tag team match, Bret, Hart and Coren against Kurt Angle and Okada. This one should be a great match. But it'll be interesting to see if these two men can work together, because for one, Bret the Hitman Hart has been very egotistical and very much about himself. And two, well, that is Coren, just down to a T. And here he is. The man who will face Okada in an Extreme Rules match at NXT TakeOver for that NXT Championship. Coren got exactly what he wanted, and now at TakeOver he's going to try and make them bear the brunt of it. Coren's attack last week though on Okada backfired. He looked to lay him out in the ring, following an attack with a kendo stick. But it did not go the way he wanted it to. After all, the Rainmaker floored Coren at the end of the show, and it was Okada who stood tall, if but briefly, over his #1 contender. But now it is all about what will we see when TakeOver rolls around. I guess we've had so much build up to this match and so much waiting to see what will happen that when that moment comes around we can barely contain our wait for it. We're just, I for one am just too amped up to wait any longer. I want to know who's going to win. I want to know who's going to walk out with that NXT Championship. It is all to play for. And here comes the first man of that team, the NXT Global Champion, the man who will face Bret Hart here tonight. And some interesting news given regarding that. The winner of this tag matchup, you know, if Angle's side is to win, I guess, or if Bret's side is to win, the winner decides the matchup that will happen at NXT TakeOver. So if Angle wins, he could decide for it to be another submission match. If Bret wins, knowing Bret, he might go for a no disqualification match, so he can get away with that, with those low blows with no worry whatsoever. But the point I'm trying to get across is the winner could have a huge advantage heading into next Saturday's TakeOver. And one thing's for sure, the Olympic gold medalist is certainly ready regardless of it. Kurt Angle, of course, found out last week in that 8-man battle royal he'd be taking on Bret the Hitman Hart. It's a question of has Angle recovered from last week as well, because he was beaten, battered and bloodied by the man on the outside, by Coren. So the big question in that regard is Angle still at 100%, or is he going to have to fight? Or is this going to have to mostly be the work of the NXT champion? Angle wouldn't want it to be that way. He's an Olympic gold medalist for a reason. I think he has fought through worse situations, but there is still going to have a lot of damage to him, I think, and he's still going to be feeling the effects of it. But one man who is riding a high right now is this one, the NXT champion Kazuchika Okada. His victory last week was one for him to celebrate, was one for him to take over with a lot of momentum to it. And especially what happened after that match as well. After his victory, bid even greater wealth to it, laying out Coren in the middle of the ring with the Rainmaker. It has to give Okada that feeling in his mind that when TakeOver rolls around, he can walk out with that title still. And I hope he does, because if Okada isn't holding that title, then I fret to think what the state of NXT will be following TakeOver. Okada has been a man to look up to, has been a champion to almost be inspired by, a man truly told that he wasn't good enough to make it on the big rosters, so they sent him down to NXT as some kind of joke. Well, almost a joke has been on those who sent him down, because he's been NXT champion now for over 7 months. He has led this brand, and he has led it to such greatness. Look at the TakeOver event. Look at the arena we are in here tonight. If not for Okada, then I don't know how these things would have come together. But at NXT TakeOver, one thing is for sure. When Coren and Okada meet one-on-one, it won't be about respect. It won't be about values, virtues, beliefs, anything along those lines. Because when the bell rings, there are no rules except for the fact that there needs to be a winner. And that is what makes that match ever so worrying, and what makes that match ever so great to think about as well. Here we go, we're underway now, and it'll be the opponents in the Global Championship match going at it. Bret and Angle squaring off here, and Angle was straight in the money there with those headbutts in the corner. Bret now going to work on Kurt Angle, going after the legs right away as well of the current NXT Global Champion. As I said, when these two meet once again for that title, regardless of what match it's going to be, one thing's for sure, it's going to be one hell of a contest. And just like the Global Championship matchup when Kurt Angle won the title, it can go either way, I still believe. Bret won that Battle Royal by simply hanging on the longest. And we'll see if at TakeOver he can do the same to win that Global Championship. But of course, if he wins here tonight, he decides the matchup. If Angle wins, or Angle's team wins rather, I should say, just to make sure that point has got across, then of course there is advantage Angle in that he can pick whatever match he wants. Good Angle refusing to give in on Bret right now, making life incredibly difficult for him. And he puts him up against the ropes here. Coren watching on closely as Kurt Angle is pummeled into now. The excellence of execution having his way with the Global Champion. You got to think he's been waiting some time to get his hands on him as well. And now that he's in the ring with him, I don't imagine he wants to let go of it anytime soon. Angle struggling a little bit here. Wanted to try and make the tag into Okada, but that just wasn't going to be the case. And here's the fight back now by Angle. Forces him to the apron, and in comes the champ. The NXT champion in now. But it's Bret who's trying to make life difficult for him early on, and it's Bret who's going to give us an early preview of NXT TakeOver, because tag made and Coren's in. Here we go. We're underway now between these two men. Big discus clothesline, floors Okada. That is the work of the challenger. That is the danger he executes in this one. The speed, the destruction. This is the man who stands a strong chance of walking out of TakeOver, the NXT champion. And you could tell Coren wants nothing but Okada in this ring right now. He doesn't care about Kurt Angle. He just wanted to get his hands on Okada and get in his mind before TakeOver. And that may well work out. Pile driver there for the champion. This just stomping down on Okada now, trying to wear down his body. Tag made, in comes Angle. Angle could get a bit of retribution for last week, but no. Coren wants none of it. He only wanted to get his hands on Okada. And Bret is bearing the brunt of it now. Flying forearms by Angle. Bret is down as a result of them. And as Bret Hart is beaten down right now, Kurt Angle getting ready to take him to town. The triple suplexes, and what's going on here? Look at Coren. The challenger, the #1 contender to the NXT Championship, he's just walking out. He's had enough of this all. He's abandoning ship and abandoning the man he's supposed to be working with. He's had his time. He's had what he wanted to do, and Coren's gone. Bret Hart has simply been abandoned, and even Kurt Angle's somewhat stunned from it. Angle had to take a moment there to realise just what was going on. But now he's right back on the matter here. I don't think Bret's realised yet that he's on his own. I don't think Bret's had to turn his back yet and realise he's been betrayed. The man he's supposed to be tagging with has walked out on him. And Bret looks almost lost now as a result of it. And Angle's going to make him pay here. Angle in position. The Angle slam. Bret is out and may well be done for. But oh boy. Is it going to be Okada who may reap this? Is it going to be Okada who may well get the advantage for this? Coren walks out and Okada will get the last say here. Bret Hart in position. Nowhere to go. Tombstone for one. And then there's the follow-up. Then there's what comes after for him to have to deal with. Okada. Rainmaker to Bret. This one's over. And as Okada will take the pinfall win with 2 and 3. This is all about one man just not caring. This is about a man who just wanted to get his bit in and leave. And that is exactly what he got, because while Okada gets the pinfall here and celebrates the win, one thing to pay attention to is Okada, when he was in the ring with Coren, was in a state of worry. And I think that's all Coren cared about. Getting in Okada's mind. Making sure that the Rainmaker realized he was in trouble ahead of TakeOver. And doing anything in his power to make him think that he could lose that title. Maybe Okada has been able to push that away from him, but one thing is for certain, when they were in the ring together, Coren had his number, and my fear is at TakeOver, the situation may be the same. Kurt Angle can take solace in the fact that, well, at TakeOver he gets to choose the match between him and Bret, and I'm sure we'll find out what that's going to be next week, and what Bret Hart's reaction is going to be to Coren walking out on him. Okada and Angle, your winners here in the main event, and you can feel the tension brewing in the Hammerstein Ballroom as we get closer and closer to NXT TakeOver. I'll end this episode, Universe. Thank you guys for watching. Take care, guys, and ta-ra.